Salute. How y'all doing? My name is DerrickCWilliams. Shout out and respect due to my newest subscribers, Candy C, Moneyman 34, Harut Bayin, and the African nation of Zambia. Stand up. Shout out and respect due to Miss Tiwa Mandi. As a rule, I pretty much don't get into celebrity gossip or the current events type things, pop culture and things like that. But obviously, we had a tragedy with the death of Kobe Bryant, and I'm going to get into that, just touch on it a little bit. I'm just coming from a Philadelphia angle and things that went down in the early part of the 2000s with Kobe Bryant here in Philadelphia. And as y'all know, I'm just one man in the comment section on YouTube. The title of this presentation will be called Kobe Bryant, Prodigal Son. Kobe Bean Bryant was born August 23rd, 1978 here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. However, he spent the majority or the better part of his formative years in Italy. He subsequently came back home and he settled in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Ardmore, Pennsylvania is on the main line, a section of Montgomery County, just about 6 miles outside of Philadelphia, one of the most affluent counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He learned how to speak Spanish, Italian, and just was a cultured young black man. The thing is that coming back to America, where many of us, millions of us, don't have that experience, there was a little disconnect. And I actually read early in the 2000s that he even admitted that there was sometimes a disconnect between himself and the brothers here at home. And after starring at Lower Merion High School, he was drafted in the NBA draft to the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets subsequently traded his rights to the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's how he ended up a Laker. But the number one draft pick in the 1996 NBA draft was Georgetown Hoya standout from Virginia, Allen Iverson. And this is where we're starting to get the rub a little bit. Kobe Bryant really was not well received in Philadelphia for the simple fact, by many, for the simple fact that although he was born in Philadelphia, he wasn't of Philadelphia for the simple fact of where he was raised. Obviously, this is not his fault, but the sports culture being what it is and barbershop talk being what it is, I'm telling you from personal experience, many in the city didn't really gravitate to him. They gravitated to the young man out of Virginia that got into a high school brawl. John Thompson essentially saved his life. He went on to start Georgetown and start here in Philadelphia. And because of the cornrows, the tattoos, he was a cultural icon here in Philadelphia. He was widely embraced by a lot of people here. All right. So much so that the Fridays on City Avenue that I still go to this day is oftentimes affectionately called Iverson's. You would see him in there a lot when he played here. I've seen him in there several times myself, and I actually saw him conversing one time with Tyrese Gibson. And that is a rub right there because, again, a lot of people really did not feel Kobe Bryant because of the culture in which he was raised. Again, that's not his fault. But one thing that really ticked off a lot of Philadelphia media and your average sports fan here in Philadelphia is when during the 2001 NBA Finals, there was a quote from Kobe Bryant saying that he wanted to cut out the heart of Sixer fans. Now that's a statement that any competitor would use, but when your son, your native son, says this, it ticks people off. Philadelphia is a gritty sports town. They take their sports seriously. In fact, so much serious that the old Veterans Stadium had an Eagles court because some of the Eagles fans were so rowdy. People were getting locked up immediately. They getting drunk and they angry because of a bad call. Philadelphia was legendarily known to actually throw snowballs at Santa Claus one time. So by Kobe Bryant making that quote, he was not very well received. And in fact, in 2002, during the All-Star game here in Philadelphia, he was booed and was booed throughout the years. But that relationship eventually mellowed out over time. But I know people that are under 30, they may not know that little tidbit of information. As we know, Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and a party of at least five other people, and the pilot died in a plane crash on Sunday. out in Los Angeles. Orion Star of Illinois had a video that she put up yesterday where she said that some guy with a timestamp back in November of 2012 actually predicted that Bryant would die by helicopter crash. And this is why I kind of like slide away, because I'm hearing that this was some type of a Illuminati sacrifice and things like that. And you've actually had YouTube content creators that don't have all the facts, have not vetted anything, have just gone out and just said this for clout chasing and just being ignorant. And we got to be better than that. But that tweet, I understand, did in fact go viral. I will put the link for that video from Orion Star and you can see it for yourself. I think that's the thumbnail. All right. But statistically speaking, flying is actually safer than driving. It's my understanding that a little bit over 1 million people die from car crashes, and we get like maybe less than 1% of that in plane crashes. But when a plane crashes, or in Brian's case, a helicopter goes down, we have a very visceral response to planes going down. And like I said again, in Brian's case, a helicopter went down. But I have to remind you, John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane also went down. He died with his wife and a party of others. Golfer Payne Stewart. He actually, from what I remember, the fighter jets actually escorted that plane as it descended down and ultimately crashed. And obviously, R&B icon Aaliyah died from a plane crash. As it turns out, human error was there. The luggage, the plane was overweighted, and that ended up causing her demise. So I try to get away from conspiracy and things like that. When I think of the Illuminati, I think of the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, Council of 300, the Federal Reserve, bank, as we like to say, people like to say bankers and things like that. Kobe Bryant was a basketball phenom, but I don't see him in the same realm as someone that is in the Trilateral Commission. And if you don't know who the Trilateral Commission is or what they are about world government. I don't see Kobe Bryant in that vein. So I'll reserve judgment for that, and I'll wait for the findings of the FAA to see exactly what brought that plane down. And I'm going to pivot to some news that we really can vet and look into. Over the weekend, I have heard so many people say in real life and online that by drinking a Corona, they would come down with this virus. We are inundated with information. You have YouTube University, you have Google and all these search engines. It just amazes me how people say these things. You're not going to get coronavirus from drinking a Corona, but what you may get it from a man-made virus, if you understand, essentially a bioweapon. The U.S. media is currently about 2 days behind the Chinese media in covering the bombshell revelations surrounding the coronavirus pandemic. Taiwan, which is the country right next to China, is actually monitoring the Chinese media for important announcements. Earlier today, the Chinese media began reporting on a new mainline Chinese study that specifically looked at the individuals involved in this Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. We have partial transmissions in the link below. According to this news, which is widely circulated in the Taiwan press and is based on a study published by the Lancet Journal. The Lancet Journal in America is one of the preeminent medical journals. All right. The Wuhan coronavirus fatality rate has leaped to 15%, and the infection rate to those exposed is 83%. All right. These numbers of transmissions of this type is unheard of in the world of microbiology and infectious disease transmission. Like I said, this in my opinion, this is some type of bioweapon. It means that 15 out of every 100 infected will die. It also means that 83 out of 100 people exposed will become infected and are able to transmit this disease to others. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later. For every 100 people exposed, around 12 will die. The only criticism of this study is that its sample size is relatively small given the very early outbreak of this disease. The study looked at 41 cases of individuals who were exposed. And this news is not good in for the economics for a lot of people. Um, Airline stocks have plummeted as a result of this news. Delta has dropped about 3%. United Airlines, the same figure. Southwest Airlines, 1.5%. And the plane carrier that I use often, American Airlines, has dropped down to 2.50%. A number of resort stocks, including Wynn Resorts, Las Vegas Sand Corporation, and MGM Resorts International, also dropped as investors are sensing that travel both here and abroad is likely to decline as the coronavirus spreads. And this is important for this reason. All right, we have a confirmed case in our country in the Seattle, Washington area. The United States CDC has officially confirmed the first known case of the Wuhan coronavirus within our nation's borders. Reports indicate that a traveler who had just returned from Seattle, Washington, after visiting Wuhan, China, where authorities claimed the outbreak originated, had to be hospitalized for what appeared to be pneumonia, and it's always that. This individual was later diagnosed with the coronavirus, and the CDC is warning that this is only the beginning. That's important. As coronavirus continues to spread across China as well into Japan, South Korea, Thailand, and Taiwan, the fear here is that it will ravage the West, which the CDC is beginning to think is inevitable. As of this writing, at least 17 people have died from the virus, and 500 more have been confirmed to be infected. Travel advisories are being issued in several other countries, but the U.S. has yet to take action. That's doubly important. And for this reason, we have on our books since 2001 the Model States Emergency Health Powers Act. And under the direction of a future president, perhaps even Trump right now, or a governor, they can deem a pandemic. And under this bill, which is on the books, you can look this up for yourself, it's called the Model States Emergency Health Powers Act. Under a gun, you can be forced to be vaccinated. This is very scary. This is serious business. And many, from what I've been hearing, is that this was a bioweapon meant to be spread to the West, but it got out over there. Now, again, I can't confirm or deny that, but by all of these governments playing cat and mouse or playing God with these diseases, you're going to have outbreaks like this. Think swine, think H1N1, Ebola is come to my attention that a woman or a patient was infected with Ebola here, and that patient was able to just leave the hospital like it was nothing. And I wish I had that printout to read to you. And I also found out that at least 250,000 Chinese have already fled the country, and they weren't vetted and screened before a quarantine was actually put in this province. So if I was a bet man, I'm thinking powers that are bigger than Trump, bigger than Kobe, are actually trying to kick something up with regards to making the population sick. So that's something for you to think about. Also, you will be probably hearing about this in the very near future. I've been taking colloidal silver for years now. I hardly ever get sick. So you want to look into the benefits of colloidal silver. Silver has been used for eons. Don't be afraid. I know Oprah had someone on her show in the early 2000s, and apparently this white guy turned blue from taking silver. As it turns out, that gentleman was making his own, so you can't account for what he put in or did not have in his batch of silver. So you'll have to find reputable sources. I found one that I believe to be so. You'll have to do your own diligence, as I'm not a doctor. So all y'all take care. Greenville, Mississippi till I die.